Hello, I'm Scott Cornwall and I'm here today to talk to you about one of my products, Str8-Forward. Str8-Forward is a permanent straightening and smoothing system that will get kinks, wave and curl out of the hair, but also replenish it with keratin, which is the hair's natural fibre, and leave it smooth, silky and soft. My model today is Clem, and Clem actually has very coarse, naturally curly hair that hasn't been treated with bleach or isn't particularly damaged. The version of Str8-Forward that I'm going to use today is Super Straight. Super Straight is ideal for this sort of hair texture. It's got a stronger lotion in it, so it's able to break the bonds in the hair and get them set in a much straighter pattern. It's also got a stronger formation in the way it can break the bonds inside the hair and really get these waves and these kinks out. If Clem's hair was over-processed with colour, slightly lightened or dry, I would recommend using extra conditioning. Extra conditioning has a weaker Part A lotion, but has a stronger conditioning element. So what it can do is it can replenish the lost moisture in the hair. What it can't do is get hair that's this curly, poker straight. So what I'm going to do now is explain what's inside each box of Str8-Forward, just so you'll get a better understanding of how it works and what it does. First off, you have the Part A straightening cream. Now inside Super Straight it's a cream, but inside extra conditioning it's a gel. And the reason being is that Super Straight is designed for much more curlier or coarse hair that needs a cream to hold it in place. When you're using extra conditioning, the hair tends to be less stubborn and have a stronger wave formation, so the gel is a lot softer on the hair. This particular element of the box is actually permanently smoothing and straightening the hair. So it's a key element in the whole process. The next part that you have in the box is the Part B keratin protein. Part B is used after Part A has been rinsed off the hair, and this is pure keratin protein which is found inside the hair. And what it will do is it will go inside the hair and it will replenish any lost moisture that's been taken out from previous products or heat styling and leave the hair in a stronger state from the inside. The third element we have is the Part C fixing cream. And this is a crucial element because what this does is make your straight hairstyle permanent. So when you apply this after you've ironed the hair, what it will do is go inside the hair and connect the bonds together, making it permanent. So you get that 3 months of permanent hair result on hair this kind of length. Also inside the box, you've got the instructions and you've also got a pair of gloves. So today I'm going to be doing a super straight treatment on Clem's hair. Now, as I was explaining previously, Clem has very wavy, curly hair that's going to need that extra strength of the Super Straight Part A to get all of these bonds broken. Now, before you begin a Str8-Forward treatment, either Super Straight or extra conditioning, you have to make sure that the hair is in reasonably good condition. First off, before you begin the treatment, you need to make sure that you clarify and cleanse the hair of any build-up or product that it might have on it. So if you've conditioned the hair or used a very rich shampoo, that's going to have made a barrier on the hair and it's not going to be possible for the Part A lotion to get inside and change it. So Clem has now treated her hair with Before You Colour and it's been completely clarified, so there's no surface build-up on there or any residue from styling products, which is going to enable that Part A to get in there. Working with the hair, you don't want the hair to be, you need the hair to be damp, but you don't want it to be soaking wet. So on mid-length hair, you can towel dry, but if the hair is quite long, I'd actually suggest just putting a hairdryer just through it to get rid of some of that excess moisture. So what I'm going to do now to begin is section Clem's hair, and that's going to enable me to work cleanly through each part of the hair, applying that straightening cream. You have to always remember, when you section hair, you have to section it from the parting. If you don't do that, when the straightening gel or cream goes on there, what it's going to do is it's going to set a parting in the hair. So you need to always be aware, wherever you're applying those sections, you need to work from the parting. We have 4 sections here, and you always start working from the back section up to the top. And how you apply the straightening cream is you take the section, comb it smooth, you squeeze the cream onto the hair in the palm of your hand, and then you work the cream down into that section of hair, and make sure you use your thumb and forefinger to really push the cream inside the hair. So now that you have applied the straightening cream, or in the case of extra conditioning straightening gel, to the hair, you need to leave it to develop for 25 minutes. Try not to move the head around too much, because it's gonna push the hair up. If you want to hold the heat in, you can apply cling film onto it, particularly if you're worried the environment is a little bit colder that you're sat in. If the hair is slightly dry on the ends or is fine, leave it to develop for 10 minutes. But the development time is crucial. You must leave it smooth and very straight during this development time, and then we'll come back for the rinsing phase. So now the straightening cream has worked and has developed on the hair, we can move on to the rinsing stage. It's crucial at this point that the hair is rinsed thoroughly through at least 3 or 4 minutes to get all of this straightening cream, or gel in the case of extra conditioning, out of the hair. With the hair sectioned, what we're doing now is applying the Part B keratin treatment. What the keratin treatment is going to do is just replenish any lost moisture that's inside the hair and strengthen it, because it's been opened up with the Part A straightening gel. If you take some of that keratin, and keratin's the hair's natural fibre and protein, and just run it down the hair like that and comb it through. You leave it on the hair for 10 minutes, after which time you lightly rinse it, anywhere between 2 and 4 minutes based on the length of the hair. So Clem has now rinsed off the surplus keratin protein from her hair, and the rest of the keratin would have gone inside the hair to replenish any of that moisture. So from this point, this is now where you can decide whether you want the Japanese straightening method or the regular straightening method. So what you do is you take your hairdryer, and then using a paddle brush, gently dry the section and smooth it out, just like that. And then once the hair is, I would say, 80 to 90% dry, this is when you want to start the ironing. So you take the section that you've just dried, you comb it, and then you just run the iron down the hair. And you keep doing it again and again and smooth it out with the comb. Ideally, you want to keep ironing it until the steam dissipates, until you stop getting this steam. Because once you stop getting the steam, it means the hair has basically dried, and it means the straight pattern is set. So I've ironed all of Clem's hair, and we're now at the Part C fixing stage. One of the things it's worth noting is when you iron the hair, after the Part B keratin and the Part A straightening cream or straightening gel, what you might find is you get some static. That's completely normal. What that means is the iron has taken out any excess water that was left in the hair, and when you see the static, it can quite often mean it's permanent. It's actually set in permanently. So don't be too alarmed if the hair gets very, very static. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to section the hair as I did before, and then onto this dry straight hair I'm going to apply the Part C fixing cream. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to set this straight pattern in its shape. So the Part C fixing cream phase is a really important step of the whole process. Now we've softened the inside of the hair, we've broken the bonds, we ironed it and got it very, very straight. What this solution will do is fix those bonds back in their original position and create the permanent result. So it's important that you work from the hair from these sections, just so you don't get yourself in a mess really, and you apply evenly all the way round. It's really important you cover every single hair, because if you don't, or you miss a section, the hair will not stay permanent. It will revert back to its original state. Now, as I said earlier, there is the quick method where you don't do the Japanese straightening, and you can just go straight to this method, this step, if you didn't want poker straight hair, if you didn't want it really straight. So if you were just trying to get your hair a little bit more controlled, you could, once you've applied the keratin treatment and rinsed it, you can go straight to this phase here. So the fixing cream has now been on the hair for 10 minutes, and that should have given it enough time to get inside and reconnect the bonds that were broken and form the new straight hair pattern. So all this needs now is for it to be rinsed off. It needs to be rinsed off for anywhere between about 3 and 5 minutes, probably about, on average, about 4. And that will just get all of this fixing cream out of the hair. Okay, and we're back, and we've rinsed off the Part C fixing cream and dried the hair, and this is the final result. So as you can see, the hair's had no compromising of the condition because of the keratin Part B phase. You can't let the hair get wet for 3 days. If the hair gets wet, what can happen is it can revert back to its old pattern because it hasn't fixed. It's going to take anywhere between 48 and 72 hours for this pattern, straight pattern, to fix into the hair. And there you go, that's it. So thanks very much for joining me, and if you require any more information on any of my other products, including Str8-Forward, then visit me at www.scottcornwall.com.